Hi, my name is Daniel Moorhead. Today I'll be presenting on the muscular analysis of the baseball swing. So the way we can kind of break down the baseball swing is into three main phases: the load phase, the contact phase, and the follow through. Here we have a video of Ken Griffey Jr., who many of you may be familiar with. He is generally referred to as the man with the sweetest swing in baseball. Here you can see the load phase, where he orderly deviates his wrists and gets his hands all the way back, ready to forcefully contract them towards the ball during the contact phase. Once his front heel strikes the ground, he begins to shift his weight towards this front leg and drive through the baseball, while his hands come in a straight path towards the ball, where he starts radially deviating his wrists until contact. He gets his arms extended, and then he drives through the baseball during the follow-through. At this point, he begins to let the momentum of the bat carry through the ball, and thus the follow-through. Those are the three main phases of the baseball swing. So now, some of the major muscle groups that we use in the baseball swing include, during phase one, they include the deltoids to help abduct and adduct horizontally the arms during the load phase. Next, the triceps, which help to push the bat back into the load, or for a right-handed hitter this way. And the pec major of the left side to help horizontally abduct that side. The latissimus dorsi and the rhomboids to retract the scapula. And the trapezius as well. The second phase, we have the quadriceps of both legs that are used to drive to the ball, and the left leg is absorbing force while the right leg is driving through. The gastroc and the soleus of the right leg also used to push off that side. The gluteus maximus to help rotate, and the adductor muscles as well. All the core muscles are used for rotation as well. The core is very important in the swing. It's where a lot of the force is generated. The third phase are essentially all the same muscles as phase two. As far as hitting mechanics goes, it's a highly dynamic movement. So there are a lot of moving parts in the swing. Timing plays a huge role in keeping things in sync. So, for instance, as the pitch is coming, you have to time it correctly to get your foot down in time. If the foot doesn't get down in time, it makes it very difficult to get your swing started, and you might be late on the ball, or you might be way out in front and be early. Proper hitting mechanics are crucial to achieving a high-level performance. If you watch Major League Baseball, you'll see many of the players there have fantastic swings and tremendous hand-eye coordination. This comes from hours of practice and even more hours of practice on top of that. So this is done to achieve a powerful and consistent contraction each time a swing is generated. Many of the MLB hitters, they spend a couple hours a day hitting, up to 200 swings a day or more, not including batting practice and the swings they take in games. And you notice that they only get maybe 15 swings in a game on a good day. They only get 5 at-bats on average, 4.5 on average. So this requires a lot of practice so that when they do get their chance to hit, they can do it right every time. The 10,000-hour rule applies in this case, where basically Simon and Chase did experiments, and also Erickson, on different elite athletes and different elite level performers, to where they noticed that after 10,000 hours of practice, that is kind of the minimum requirement for achieving expertise in a certain field. So this certainly applies in baseball as well. Common mistakes in hitting mechanics include several things. This includes phase two starting before the front heel gets down. So, for instance, my hips would start moving before my hands, or before my foot gets down. So it would look something like this, causing me to be off timing and causing me to not be able to time the ball up as it crosses the plate for contact. The next is not getting separation between the hips and the hands. So this would be called a one-piece swing when the hips and the hands fire at the same time. I'm not going to get as powerful a swing as I can from there. If I create some separation between my hips and my hands, I can get a more forceful contraction to the ball. Also, head movement during the swing. You'll notice a lot of amateur hitters have a lot of head movement as they swing. Their head changes level, and this causes them to swing and miss more often than not, and have not as consistent contact. Soft front side at contact. You'll notice in Griffey's swing, he had a very firm front side that he drove across. A lot of amateur hitters, they have a soft front side, so they collapse on that front side, causing their head level to change and causing them to dip under the ball quite frequently. A collapsed backside is also one of the major errors of swings. You see guys dip under the ball, collapse on that backside, and go underneath. And no extension through the baseball. Extension is very important in creating torque. As you know, torque is force times distance, so the longer the distance of the lever, the more force that's able to be produced in the swing. Next, we have training for powerful bat speed. Once again, hitting is an extremely dynamic movement that requires nearly every muscle in the body. So to train for this, you have to train every muscle in the body. We know that force equals mass times acceleration, and kinetic energy equals 1/2 mv squared, velocity being squared. This doesn't include the rotational kinetic energy of the ball and the bat. We can't change the mass of the ball, and we can only change the mass of the bat in very, very small increments. So to train and produce maximal force, maximum weight must be used. This includes maximum weight deadlifts, maximum weight squats, and bench press. This allows us to produce a lot of force. So once we can produce a lot of force, we have to produce it very quickly. So rate of force development is also important. We have to train acceleration. This can be done using box jumps, plyometrics, speed squats, speed bench press, and other various exercises that should always be constantly rotated in order to get a maximum result. So that's kind of the rundown on the muscular analysis of the baseball swing. Are there any questions?